The cafe on Route 9 wasn't much to look at. Faded paint, cracked sidewalk, a handwritten sign in the window that read, "Support local kids. Every dollar counts." Inside, tucked beside the register, sat a clear donation box covered in crayon drawings and thank you notes from children who'd received winter coats the year before. It took the thief 14 seconds to walk in, grab the box, and vanish into the parking lot. But he didn't know that 3 men sitting by the window weren't just any customers. They were riders, and one of them had helped build that charity 5 winters ago after his daughter died, waiting for a coat that never came. The sun hadn't fully cleared the pines when Marcus Holt walked into Eva's roadside cafe. The bell above the door chimed soft and familiar. Eva looked up from behind the counter, her silver hair tied back, flour dusting her apron. "Morning, Mark," she said, pouring coffee without asking. "Black, 2 sugars." Marcus nodded and took his usual booth by the window. The leather of his jacket creaked as he sat. Outside, his Harley sat alone in the gravel lot, chrome glinting in the early light. 2 more bikes rolled in minutes later, Dean and Cisco. They'd ridden together for 17 years, served together before that. The kind of brotherhood that didn't need words most days. Dean slid into the booth across from Marcus. Cisco took the outside seat, stretching his bad knee. Eva brought coffee without being asked. "Quiet morning?" Dean said. Marcus grunted. His eyes drifted to the donation box on the counter. Clear plastic, filled halfway with crumpled bills and loose change. Drawings taped to the front, stick figures in coats, smiling suns, crooked hearts. The Winter Angels Fund. Started 6 years ago after a 9-year-old girl froze to death waiting at a bus stop in February. No coat, no gloves. Parents couldn't afford them. That girl had been Marcus's daughter. He didn't talk about it, didn't have to. Everyone in town knew. Eva knew. The riders knew. That's why the box sat on her counter every year from October to March. That's why every rider who came through dropped something in. Marcus stared at the drawings. Cisco noticed but said nothing. The bell chimed again. A man walked in, mid-30s, lean, nervous eyes scanning the room too quick. He wore a grey hoodie, hands shoved in the pockets. He moved toward the counter. Eva smiled. "Morning, hon, what can I get you?" "Just a water." She turned to the cooler. The man glanced left, then right. His hand shot out, grabbed the donation box, shoved it under his hoodie. 14 seconds. He was out the door before Eva turned back around. Marcus saw it. Dean saw it. Cisco saw it. For a moment, nobody moved. Then Marcus stood, slow, deliberate. His chair scraped against the floor. "Mark," Eva started. He was already walking toward the door. Dean and Cisco followed. Outside, the man was running toward a rusted sedan parked at the far edge of the lot. Marcus didn't run. He walked, steady, boots crunching gravel. The man fumbled with his keys, dropped them, picked them up, got the door open. Marcus stopped 10 feet away. "Put it back." The man froze, turned, saw 3 men in leather standing between him and the exit. "I don't know what you're talking about." Marcus didn't blink. "The box! Put it back!" The man's hand tightened on the door. "You don't want to do this." "I really do." The man got in the car, slammed the door. Engine roared, tires spun. He was gone in seconds. Dean pulled out his phone, snapped a photo of the license plate as the car fishtailed onto the highway. Cisco looked at Marcus. "What now?" Marcus walked back to his bike, pulled his phone from his jacket, scrolled through his contacts. Hit a name he hadn't called in months. It rang twice. "Yeah? Len, it's Marcus." Pause. "Holt, been a while. Need a favor. Talk. Guy just stole a charity box. Kids Winter Fund. Got his plate." Another pause. Longer this time. "Send it." Marcus texted the photo. Waited. 30 seconds later, his phone buzzed. "Vincent Carey, 34, lives in Ashford, 2 priors for theft, 1 for assault." Marcus's jaw tightened. "Address?" "Mark, you know I can't." "Address." Silence. Then a sigh. 412 Maple Grove Apartments, Unit 7. Thanks. Marcus, don't do anything stupid. Marcus hung up. Dean leaned against his bike. So? Ashford, 30 miles north. Cisco nodded. When? Marcus looked at the cafe. Eva stood in the window, arms crossed, staring at the empty space where the donation box used to be. He looked back at Dean and Cisco. Now! Dean pulled out his phone, opened a group chat, typed 4 words, charity box stolen, riding north. Within 2 minutes, 18 riders had responded. By noon, 83 motorcycles would be rolling toward Ashford, and Vincent Carey had no idea what was coming. If you're already hooked by this story of justice and brotherhood, drop a comment telling us where you're watching from. Let's see how far this message of standing up for what's right can reach. Marcus didn't wait for confirmation. He kicked his bike to life, and the engine's growl echoed across the empty parking lot. Dean and Cisco mounted up beside him. 3 bikes, 3 men, moving as one. The highway stretched north under a pale morning sky. Wind cut cold across their faces. Marcus leaned into the curve, his mind already ahead, calculating, planning. His phone buzzed in his jacket. He ignored it. It buzzed again, and again. At the first rest stop, he pulled over. Dean and Cisco followed. Marcus checked his messages. I'm in. Where we meeting? Garrett. Count me. Who we hunting? Sal. On my way. ETA, 40 minutes. Ricky. Rolling with 3 others. Send coordinates. Thomas. The list kept going. Marcus hadn't expected this. He'd sent the message to the usual crew. Maybe 10 guys he knew would drop everything. But the word had spread, rider to rider, chapter to chapter. Dean looked over his shoulder. How many? Marcus scrolled. 32 confirmed, more asking for details. Cisco whistled low. For a charity box. Marcus's voice was quiet. It's not about the box. Dean nodded. He understood. So did Cisco. It was about the line. The one that separated right from wrong. The one most people pretended not to see anymore. But riders saw it. And when someone crossed it, especially someone who stole from kids who had nothing, that line became a wall. Marcus texted back a single location. Ashford North End Old Lumber Mill. 1 hour. They rode. The old lumber mill sat at the edge of Ashford, half collapsed and forgotten. Rusted equipment, cracked concrete, weeds growing through the foundation. Nobody came here anymore, except today. Marcus arrived first. He parked his bike near the entrance and waited. 5 minutes later, 2 bikes rolled in, then 4 more, then a pack of 6. By the time the sun reached its peak, the mill yard was filled with motorcycles, rows of them, chrome and steel gleaming, engines ticking as they cooled. 83 riders, some Marcus knew well, others he'd only met once or twice at rallies. A few he'd never seen before, friends of friends, brothers of brothers. It didn't matter, they'd all come for the same reason. Marcus stood on a loading dock, looking out at the sea of leather and metal. Dean and Cisco flanked him. Appreciate you all coming, Marcus said. His voice carried in the stillness. This isn't about revenge, it's about sending a message. A rider near the back spoke up. What's the play? We find him. We get the box back. We make sure he understands what he took. And if he doesn't want to cooperate? Someone asked. Marcus's expression didn't change. Then we convince him. A ripple of approval moved through the crowd. Not violent, not reckless, just certain. Garrett stepped forward. Big guy. Tattoos covering both arms. He'd been riding with Marcus since before the war. You got an address? 412 Maple Grove Apartments, Unit 7. You want us to roll in all at once? Marcus shook his head. No, that'll spook him. We split into groups. Surround the building, block every exit. Then Dean, Cisco, and I go to the door. And if he runs, he won't get far. Sal, a wiry man with a grey beard, raised his hand. What about the cops? We're not breaking any laws, Marcus said. We're just visiting a neighbor. Someone laughed, dark and low. Marcus pulled out a hand-drawn map, spread it on the dock. Building's 4 stories. 2 entrances, fire escape on the east side. We position bikes here, here, and here. Nobody leaves without us knowing. The riders studied the map, nodded. One more thing, Marcus said. His tone shifted, harder. This man stole from kids who don't have coats for winter. Some of you know what that means. Some of you lived it. I don't care if he's desperate. I don't care if he's broke. You don't steal from children. Silence. Marcus looked at each face. We do this clean. We do this right. No one gets hurt unless he makes it that way. Understood? A chorus of agreement. Then let's ride. The convoy moved like a single organism. Not a race, not a parade, just a slow, deliberate roll through Ashford's quiet streets. People stopped on sidewalks, stared. Some pulled out phones, others just watched, mouths open, as 83 motorcycles passed in formation. A woman standing outside a grocery store clutched her purse. A man mowing his lawn shut off the mower and stared. But no one called the police, because deep down, everyone could feel it. This wasn't a threat. This was justice. Marcus led the pack, his eyes fixed ahead. The apartments came into view, a squat 4-story building with peeling paint and rusted railings, exactly the kind of place where someone like Vincent Carey would hide. The bikes began to peel off, groups of 10, 15 spreading out around the building, parking in alleys, blocking driveways, covering every angle. Within 5 minutes, Maple Grove Apartments was surrounded. Marcus parked directly in front of Unit 7. Killed the engine. Silence settled over the street, like a held breath. He dismounted, walked toward the door. Dean and Cisco followed. And somewhere inside, Vincent Carey had no idea that his 14-second mistake was about to cost him everything. Marcus stood in front of Unit 7. The door was scratched, paint chipped. A cheap brass number hung crooked from a single screw. He could hear a television inside, canned laughter, voices. He knocked, 3 times, firm, deliberate. The laughter stopped, footsteps slow, hesitant. Who is it? Marcus didn't answer. He knocked again. A shadow passed behind the peephole, paused. Then the chain rattled. The lock clicked. The door opened 2 inches. Vincent Carey stared out through the gap. His face was pale, eyes bloodshot. He looked like he hadn't slept. Yeah? Marcus met his gaze. You took something that doesn't belong to you. Vincent's expression shifted. Confusion, then recognition, then fear. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, you do. Vincent tried to close the door. Marcus's boot stopped it. Not forceful, just present. I'm calling the cops, Vincent said, voice rising. Go ahead, Marcus said calmly. Tell them you stole a charity box. See how that goes. Vincent's hand tightened on the door. His eyes darted past Marcus, saw Dean, saw Cisco, saw the rows of motorcycles lining the street. His face went grey. Oh my God. Where's the box? Marcus asked. Vincent stepped back, shook his head. You can't. Dean moved forward, not aggressive, just closer. You really want to do this the hard way? Vincent's hands trembled. I needed the money. You stole from kids, Cisco said quietly. Kids who don't have winter coats. I didn't know. I just saw a box and where is the box? Vincent stumbled backward. Marcus pushed the door open and stepped inside. Dean and Cisco followed. The apartment was small, cluttered. Fast food wrappers on the floor, clothes draped over furniture. The smell of stale cigarettes hung in the air. Marcus scanned the room, saw a backpack on the couch. He walked over, unzipped it. The charity box sat inside, still intact. The bills and coins crumpled, but there. Marcus pulled it out, held it up. This, he said, turning to Vincent, is worth more than your car, more than your rent, more than anything you own. You know why? Vincent didn't answer. Because every dollar in here represents a kid staying warm this winter. A kid who won't freeze waiting for a bus. A kid who won't die because people like you decided your problems mattered more than their lives. Vincent's eyes filled with tears. I'm sorry, okay? You'll do nothing, Marcus said. You already did enough. He walked toward the door, stopped, turned back. "You're coming with us." Vincent's face went white. "What? No! No, Dean stepped forward. "You can walk, or we can carry you. Your choice." Vincent looked around like a trapped animal. The door was blocked. The window was 3 stories up. There was nowhere to go. "Please," he whispered. "I'm sorry. I'll pay it back. I swear." "You're going to do more than that," Marcus said. "Now move." Outside, the riders waited, 83 men standing beside their bikes, arms crossed, silent, watching. When Marcus stepped out holding the charity box, a ripple of approval moved through the crowd. Some nodded, others tapped their fists against their chests. Silent salute. Vincent stumbled out behind him, eyes wide, scanning the sea of leather and steel. "Oh God," he breathed. "Oh God, oh God." Marcus handed the box to Cisco, then turned to face Vincent. "You see all these people?" Vincent nodded, shaking. "Every single one of them came here because of what you did. Not because we're angry. Because we care. About kids, about community, about doing what's right." Vincent opened his mouth, closed it. Marcus continued. "You have 2 choices. 1, we call the police. You get arrested, you go to court, you probably get probation, and in 6 months you're back to doing the same thing." Vincent swallowed hard. "And the other choice? You come with us, right now, and you start making this right." "How?" Marcus gestured to the riders. "We're going back to Eva's Café. You're going to return this box. You're going to apologize to Eva. And then you're going to work." "Work?" "Every Saturday for the next 3 months, you're going to help distribute coats to kids who need them. You're going to see their faces. You're going to hear their stories, and you're going to understand what you almost took from them." Vincent stared. "That's it?" "No," Dean said. "You're also going to tell your story. To everyone who asks. About what you did. About what happened next. About what you learned." Cisco stepped closer. "This is your chance, man. Your one chance to not be the guy who stole from kids, to be the guy who fixed his mistake." Vincent looked at the ground. His shoulders shook. When he looked up, tears streamed down his face. "Okay," he whispered. "Okay, I'll do it." Marcus nodded. "Get on." He pointed to a bike near the back. A rider named Jackson, 62, former Marine, arms like tree trunks, waited beside it. Vincent walked over, climbed on behind Jackson, looked terrified. Marcus mounted his own bike, kicked it to life. The convoy rolled out, slow, deliberate, heading south, toward Eva's Café, toward redemption, toward the kind of justice that didn't come from courtrooms or badges, but from men who remembered what mattered. This story takes place in Ashford, USA, at 2:47 p.m. on a Saturday that would change one man's life forever. Stay with us. The ride back to Eva's Café was silent, except for the rumble of engines. No music, no shouts, just the steady pulse of 83 motorcycles moving as one through the afternoon sun. Vincent clung to Jackson's back, white-knuckled, eyes squeezed shut. Every time he opened them, he saw more bikes, more riders, more witnesses to his shame. Jackson felt him shaking. "Relax, kid. Nobody's gonna hurt you." Vincent didn't answer. "You're lucky, you know," Jackson continued. "Most guys who steal from kids, they don't get second chances. They get what they deserve. Marcus is giving you something better." "Why?" Vincent's voice was barely audible over the wind. "Because he knows what it's like to lose everything, and he knows what it's like to need help and not get it. That's why he started that fund. That's why he cares so much." Vincent was quiet for a long moment. "What happened?" Jackson's jaw tightened. "That's not my story to tell. But you'll understand soon enough." They arrived at Eva's Café just after 3. The parking lot couldn't hold all the bikes, so they spilled onto the shoulder, lining Route 9 in both directions. Cars slowed, drivers stared. Some stopped altogether. Marcus parked first, dismounted, walked toward the cafe door with the charity box cradled under one arm. Dean and Cisco followed, then the rest of the riders, forming a loose semicircle in front of the building. Eva stood in the doorway, arms crossed, expression unreadable. Marcus stopped in front of her, held out the box. "Got it back." Eva took it, examined it. The bills were crumpled. Some coins had spilled loose inside, but everything was there. She looked past Marcus to the crowd of riders, then to Vincent, standing at the back, pale and trembling. "That the one who took it?" "Yes, ma'am." Eva stared at Vincent for a long moment, then back at Marcus. "You bring him back to apologize, or to beat him." "Apologize. And more." Eva raised an eyebrow. Marcus gestured for Vincent to step forward. He did, slowly, like a man walking to the gallows. When he reached the doorway, he couldn't meet Eva's eyes. "I'm sorry," he whispered. I'm really sorry." Eva didn't respond immediately. She just looked at him, studied him, saw the fear, the shame, the desperation. Finally, she spoke. "Why'd you do it?" Vincent's voice cracked. "I needed money. I lost my job 3 weeks ago. My landlord's threatening to evict me. I saw the box and I just thought." "You thought stealing from kids would solve your problems?" "I wasn't thinking." Clearly. Silence hung heavy. Eva sighed, set the box on a nearby table, crossed her arms again. "You know what this money's for?" Vincent nodded weakly. "Say it." "Winter coats. For kids." "Not just coats," Eva said, her voice hard. "For kids whose parents can't afford them. Kids who walk to school in the freezing cold, wearing nothing but a hoodie. Kids who've never owned anything brand new in their entire lives." Vincent's shoulders shook. 6 years ago," Eva continued, "a little girl died 2 blocks from here, froze to death waiting for a bus. She was 9 years old. Her name was Sarah Holt." Vincent looked up sharply, looked at Marcus. Marcus's face was stone. "That's his daughter," Eva said quietly. "That's why this fund exists. That's why we do this every year. And that's why what you did matters." Vincent's knees buckled. He caught himself on the doorframe. Tears streamed down his face. "I didn't know," he choked. "I swear I didn't." "Doesn't matter if you knew," Eva said. "Stealing is stealing. Hurting people is hurting people. Doesn't matter if you know their names." Vincent covered his face with his hands, sobbed openly. Eva looked at Marcus. "What's your plan?" "He's going to make it right." "How?" 3 months, every Saturday. He helps distribute coats. He meets the families. He sees what he almost took away. Eva considered this. "And if he doesn't show..." "He'll show," Cisco said from behind Marcus. "We'll make sure of it." Eva turned her attention back to Vincent. "You hear that? You've got 83 people watching now. You don't get to slip away. You don't get to disappear. You're part of this until you've earned your way out. Understood?" Vincent nodded, still crying. "I need to hear you say it." "I understand," he whispered. "I'll do it, I promise." Eva studied him for another moment. Then, unexpectedly, her expression softened just slightly. "You know what? I believe you." She turned to Marcus. "When's the first distribution?" "Next Saturday, 10 a.m. Community Center." "I'll be there," Eva said. "And so will he." She pointed at Vincent. Marcus nodded. "Yes, ma'am." Eva picked up the charity box, carried it back inside, placed it on the counter in its usual spot. The drawings were still taped to the front. Stick figures in coats, smiling suns, crooked hearts. She turned back to the doorway. "Coffee's on the house today. All of you. Come in if you want." A few riders smiled. Some declined politely. Others filed inside, grateful for the gesture. Marcus stayed outside, looked at Vincent. "You're not done yet." Vincent wiped his eyes. "What else?" "Come on." Marcus walked to his bike. Vincent followed, uncertain. Marcus pulled a small notebook from his saddlebag, wrote something, tore out the page, handed it to Vincent. It was a phone number. "That's mine," Marcus said. "You need help finding work? You call. You need food? You call. You need someone to talk to? You call, but you don't steal, not ever again." Vincent stared at the paper. "Why are you helping me?" Marcus's eyes met his. "Because someone should have helped me. Before I lost everything." He mounted his bike. Dean and Cisco did the same. "Next Saturday, 10 a.m. Don't be late." The engines roared to life. One by one, the riders pulled away. The convoy dispersed, scattering in different directions. Vincent stood alone in the parking lot, holding a phone number and a second chance. And for the first time in weeks, he felt something he'd almost forgotten: hope. Vincent arrived at the community center at 9:30, half an hour early. He didn't want to risk being late. Didn't want to give Marcus or any of the riders a reason to doubt him. The building was old but well maintained. Red brick, white trim. A banner hung over the entrance. Winter Angels Fund, Coat Drive 2024. Vincent stood outside, hands shoved in his pockets, watching volunteers carry boxes inside. Some he recognized, Dean and Cisco. Others were new faces, families, elderly couples, teenagers. He didn't know where to go, didn't know what to do. Then Marcus appeared beside him, silent as a shadow. "You showed." Vincent jumped. "Yeah, I said I would." Marcus studied him. "Good, come on." Inside, the center was organized chaos. Tables lined the walls, covered in winter coats sorted by size. Volunteers moved between them, checking inventory, folding sleeves, attaching tags. In the corner, a woman was setting up a hot chocolate station. The smell of cinnamon filled the air. Ava stood near the front, clipboard in hand, directing traffic like a general. She saw Vincent and gave a small nod. Not friendly, not hostile, just acknowledgement. Marcus led Vincent to a table piled with coats. "Your job's simple. Families come in. You ask what size they need. You help them find something that fits. You treat every person with respect. Got it?" Vincent nodded. "And Vincent?" "Yeah?" "Smile. You're not on trial. You're here to help." Marcus walked away before Vincent could respond. For the next hour, Vincent stood at the table, awkward and uncertain. Volunteers moved around him with easy familiarity. They joked, they laughed, they knew each other's names. He was an outsider. At 10 o'clock, the doors opened. The families came in slowly at first. A single mother with 2 kids, an elderly man holding his granddaughter's hand, a young couple, both looking exhausted. Vincent watched them browse the tables, saw the way the children's eyes lit up when they found a coat they liked, saw the relief on parents' faces when they realized everything was free. A woman approached his table, mid-30s, tired eyes. A boy, maybe 7, stood beside her, clutching her hand. "Hi," she said softly. "We're looking for a coat. Size medium, I think." Vincent cleared his throat. "Yeah, sure, let me—" He sorted through the pile, found 3 options, held them up. The boy's eyes locked on a blue one with a hood. "Can I try that one?" he asked, voice small. "Of course." Vincent helped him into it. The boy zipped it up, grinned, looked at his mother. "It's warm," he said, wonder in his voice. The mother's eyes filled with tears. "Thank you," she whispered to Vincent. "Thank you so much." Vincent's chest tightened. "You're welcome." They moved on. Another family stepped up. For the next 3 hours, Vincent didn't stop. He helped dozens of families, listened to their stories, saw their gratitude, felt their relief. A grandfather thanked him for helping his grandson. A teenage girl hugged the coat Vincent found for her like it was made of gold. A father shook his hand and said, "God bless you." Each time, Vincent felt something shift inside him, something small but significant. He'd never thought about who needed these coats. He'd only thought about the money. But now, standing here, seeing the faces, children who'd walked to school without freezing, parents who could finally stop worrying, he understood. He understood what he'd almost stolen. At 1 o'clock, the crowd thinned. Volunteers began packing up leftover coats. Ava walked over to Vincent. "How'd it go?" Vincent looked at her. I didn't know." "Didn't know what?" "What this meant. What it does for people." Eva's expression softened. "Now you do." She handed him a bottle of water. "You did good today." "I don't deserve to be told that." "Maybe not," Eva said. "But you showed up. That counts for something." Marcus appeared beside them. "We're wrapping up. Need help loading boxes into the truck?" Vincent nodded. "Yeah, absolutely." For the next hour he worked alongside the riders, lifted boxes, carried tables, swept floors. Nobody treated him like the thief he'd been a week ago. They treated him like one of them. When everything was loaded, Marcus walked Vincent to the parking lot. Next Saturday, same time. Vincent hesitated. "Can I ask you something?" Marcus stopped, turned. "Why are you doing this, really? You could have just called the cops. Or worse, why give me a chance?" Marcus was quiet for a long moment. When he finally spoke, his voice was low. 6 years ago, I lost my daughter, Sarah. She was 9. Froze to death because I couldn't afford a coat. I was between jobs, broke, too proud to ask for help. I thought I could handle it. Vincent's breath caught. By the time I realized I couldn't, Marcus continued, it was too late. She was gone. And I spent years hating myself, hating the system, hating everyone who could have helped but didn't. He looked Vincent in the eye. Then I realized something. Hating doesn't bring her back, doesn't help anyone. But this, he gestured toward the community center, this does. Every coat we give out is a kid who doesn't have to suffer like Sarah did. Every family we help is a parent who doesn't have to carry the guilt I carry. Vincent's eyes burned. You made a mistake, Marcus said. A bad one. But you're not defined by your worst moment. You're defined by what you do next. He put a hand on Vincent's shoulder. Firm, steady. So do better. Marcus walked away, mounted his bike, rode off. Vincent stood alone in the empty parking lot. The sun was setting, the air was cold, but for the first time in years, Vincent felt something other than despair. He felt purpose. 3 weeks passed, 3 Saturdays, 3 coat distributions. Vincent showed up early every time. He worked without complaint, helped families, listened to their stories, learned their names. The volunteers began to warm to him. Dean started calling him Vinny. Cisco taught him how to properly fold winter gear for storage. Ava let him help set up the hot chocolate station. He wasn't forgiven, not completely, but he was accepted. On the 4th Saturday, something changed. Vincent arrived at the community center to find Marcus waiting outside, alone, holding an envelope. "Morning," Vincent said. Marcus nodded. "Got something for you." He handed over the envelope. It was worn, creased, like it had been carried for a long time. Vincent took it cautiously. "What is it?" "Read it." Vincent opened the envelope. Inside was a handwritten letter. The handwriting was careful, childish. Crayon drawings decorated the margins, stars, hearts, flowers. He read, "Dear Santa, my name is Sarah. I am 9 years old. I live with my daddy. My mommy is in heaven. I don't want toys this year. I just want a coat, a warm one. My daddy says we can't buy one right now because he lost his job, but I get really cold waiting for the bus. I promise I've been good. I help daddy clean. I do my homework. I don't cry even when I'm sad. Please, Santa, just a coat. That's all I want. Love." Sarah Vincent's hands trembled. He looked up at Marcus, eyes wide. "She wrote that the December before she died," Marcus said quietly. "I found it in her backpack after the funeral. She never mailed it, probably thought it was silly, but she kept it." Vincent couldn't speak. "You know what kills me?" Marcus continued. "She didn't ask for anything else. No dolls, no games, just a coat, something so simple, and I couldn't give it to her." Tears streamed down Vincent's face. "Marcus, I'm not telling you this to make you feel worse," Marcus said. "I'm telling you because you need to understand. Every coat we give out, that's Sarah. Every kid who stays warm this winter, that's Sarah. This whole fund exists because I failed her, and I'll spend the rest of my life making sure no other parent has to feel what I felt." Vincent wiped his eyes. "I'm sorry. God, I'm so sorry." Marcus took the letter back, folded it carefully, tucked it into his jacket. "I know you are. And that's why I'm telling you this, because you've shown up. You've done the work. You've proven you meant what you said." He looked Vincent in the eye. "Your 3 months are almost up. After next week, you're done. You've fulfilled your obligation." Vincent frowned. "What do you mean, done?" "You're free. You don't have to come back." Vincent stared at him. But what if I want to? Marcus's expression softened. Then you're welcome to, always. Inside, the day's distribution went smoothly. More families than usual, more coats given away. The volunteers moved like a machine, efficient and warm. Vincent worked his table with new confidence. He knew what to ask, how to help, when to just listen. A little girl, maybe 8, approached with her father. She had Sarah's eyes, same curiosity, same shy smile. "Hi," Vincent said gently. "What size are we looking for?" "Small," the father said. "She's growing, though, might need a medium." Vincent pulled both sizes, held them up. The girl pointed to a red coat with white buttons. "That one." Vincent helped her try it on. It fit perfectly. She spun in a circle, grinning. "Daddy, look!" Her father smiled. "You look great, sweetheart." The girl looked up at Vincent. "Thank you, mister." Vincent crouched down. "You're very welcome. Stay warm, okay?" "I will." As they walked away, Vincent felt Marcus watching from across the room. Their eyes met. Marcus nodded once, a simple gesture, but it meant everything. At the end of the day, as volunteers packed up, Marcus gathered everyone together. "Quick announcement," he said. "As most of you know, Vincent's been helping us for the past month, fulfilling a commitment he made. As of next week, that commitment's done." Vincent stood off to the side, uncertain. "But I want to say something," Marcus continued. "I've seen a lot of people mess up. Not many of them own it. Fewer still do the work to make it right. Vincent did both." He turned to Vincent. "You screwed up, but you showed up. That matters." The room was silent. Then Dean started clapping. Slow at first. Then Cisco joined. Then Eva. Then everyone. Vincent's face flushed. He didn't know what to say. "Thank you," he managed, "all of you, for giving me a chance." Marcus walked over, extended his hand. Vincent took it. "See you next Saturday?" Marcus asked. Vincent smiled. A real one. "Yeah, see you next Saturday." If this story is moving you, hit that like button. Let's spread the message that second chances matter and actions speak louder than mistakes. The following week, Vincent didn't just show up. He arrived with something unexpected, a check. Marcus was setting up tables when Vincent approached. "Morning, Vinny," Marcus said without looking up. "Morning." Vincent hesitated. "Can I talk to you?" Marcus straightened, saw the envelope in Vincent's hand. "What's this?" "Open it." Marcus took the envelope, pulled out a check made out to the Winter Angels Fund. His eyes widened. $2,000. Vincent nodded. "It's not everything I took. The box only had about 300, but I wanted to give more, to make up for what I almost cost this program." "Vinny, where did you get this?" "I got a job. Construction. Started 2 weeks ago. It's hard work, but it pays decent. This is my first paycheck, and most of my second." Marcus stared at the check. "You didn't have to do this." "Yeah, I did. Your rent, I'll figure it out," Vincent said firmly. "I've been crashing with a buddy. He's letting me sleep on his couch until I save enough for a deposit. It's not much, but it works." Marcus was quiet for a long moment. Then he looked up. "You know this changes everything, right?" Vincent frowned. "What do you mean?" "You were done. After today you didn't have to come back, but now—" Marcus held up the check. "Now you're invested. You've put your own money into this. That makes you part of it. I want to be part of it." Marcus smiled. Small, but genuine. "Then welcome to the family." He extended his hand. Vincent shook it. That Saturday's distribution was the biggest yet. Over 200 families, over 300 coats given away. The community center was packed wall to wall. Vincent worked his station without rest, helped dozens of kids find the perfect coat, listened to parents express gratitude, watched children light up with joy. At one point, a woman approached his table. She was young, maybe mid-20s. A toddler clung to her leg. "Hi," she said softly. "I need a coat for him, size 2T. Vincent sorted through the pile, found a small green jacket with a dinosaur patch on the sleeve. The toddler's eyes went wide. "Roar!" Vincent laughed. "Yeah, buddy, roar!" He helped the boy into the coat. It fit perfectly. The woman's eyes filled with tears. "Thank you so much. I've been so worried about Winter. His old coat doesn't fit anymore, and I couldn't afford—" "Hey," Vincent said gently. "It's okay. That's what we're here for." She smiled through her tears. "Bless you." As she walked away, Vincent felt a hand on his shoulder, turned to find Marcus standing beside him. "You're good at this." "At what?" "Helping people, making them feel seen." Vincent shrugged. "I'm just doing what everyone else here does." "No," Marcus said, "you're doing more. You're turning your worst moment into something meaningful. That takes courage." Vincent looked at the crowded room. Families laughing, kids running around in brand new coats, volunteers smiling despite their exhaustion. "This feels right," Vincent said quietly. "For the first time in a long time, something feels right." Marcus nodded. "Good, because I want to talk to you about something." "What?" "Come with me." Marcus led Vincent outside. The parking lot was emptying. Most families had already left. A few riders remained, chatting beside their bikes. Marcus stopped beside his Harley. "You know, I started this fund because of Sarah." "Yeah, but it's grown beyond that. It's not just about one kid anymore, it's about all of them. Every child who needs help, every family struggling." Vincent listened. "And it's getting bigger every year," Marcus continued. "More donations, more families, more work. Ever and I can't do it alone anymore. We need help." "I'll do whatever you need." Marcus smiled. "I was hoping you'd say that. I want you to help coordinate next year's drive." Vincent blinked. "What?" "You heard me. Help me organize. Reach out to donors, schedule distributions, run social media, whatever it takes." "Marcus, I don't know if I'm qualified." "You're more qualified than you think. You've seen both sides now. You know what it's like to be desperate, and you know what it's like to help. That perspective is exactly what this program needs." Vincent was speechless. "You don't have to answer now," Marcus said. "Think about it. But I mean it. You've proven yourself, and I trust you." Those last 4 words hit Vincent harder than anything else. "I trust you." He looked at Marcus, this man who'd lost everything, who could have destroyed him, who instead gave him a second chance. "I'll do it," Vincent said. "I'm in." Marcus grinned, extended his hand. Vincent took it. That night, after everything was packed away and the center was locked up, the volunteers gathered in the parking lot. Someone brought beer, someone else brought pizza. Vincent sat on the tailgate of a truck, eating a slice and listening to Dean tell a story about a ride through Montana. Cisco laughed. Eva rolled her eyes but smiled. Marcus sat beside Vincent, quiet, just watching. "You okay?" Vincent asked. Marcus nodded. "Yeah, just thinking." "About what?" "About how sometimes the people we least expect end up mattering the most." Vincent didn't know what to say to that. Marcus stood, raised his beer. To Vincent, who showed up when it mattered. The group raised their drinks, shouted his name. Vincent felt his chest tighten, not with shame this time, with belonging. Winter arrived early that year. By mid-November, snow blanketed the streets. Temperatures dropped below freezing most nights. The Winter Angels Fund responded by doubling its efforts. More coats, more distributions, more families reached. Vincent threw himself into the work. He created a social media page, reached out to local businesses for donations, organized a fundraiser at Eva's Café that brought in $4,000. He wasn't just volunteering anymore, he was leading. Marcus watched him transform, saw the confidence grow, saw the shame fade, saw a man who'd been broken become someone who built others up. But not everyone was happy about Vincent's redemption. On a Friday evening, 3 weeks before Christmas, Vincent was closing up the community center after a late planning session. He locked the front door and headed toward his car, a used sedan he'd bought with his construction wages. 3 men stepped out of the shadows. Vincent stopped. His pulse quickened. The man in front was tall, muscular, tattoos covering both arms. Vincent didn't recognize him. "You Vincent Carey?" "Who's asking?" "Heard you've been working with those bikers, the charity thing." Vincent's guard went up. What about it? The man stepped closer. See, that bothers me. A thief like you, pretending to be a saint, acting like you're better than everyone else. I'm not pretending to be anything. Yeah? Then why'd you steal from kids? Vincent's jaw tightened. I made a mistake. I'm fixing it. The man laughed, dark, humorless. You can't fix something like that. You think working a few Saturdays makes you a good person. You're still the same piece of trash you were a month ago. One of the other men circled behind Vincent. Vincent's hands curled into fists. What do you want? I want you gone, the man said. This is our neighborhood. We don't need outsiders like you playing hero. I'm not playing anything. I'm trying to help. Then help somewhere else. The man shoved Vincent backward. He stumbled, caught himself. Walk away, Vincent said, voice steady, before this gets worse. Or what? You gonna call your biker buddies? Think they'll save you? Vincent didn't answer, just stood his ground. The man swung. Vincent ducked, barely. The fist whistled past his ear. He didn't swing back, didn't move, just stood there. Hit me if you want, Vincent said quietly. But I'm not leaving. This work matters, and I'm not running anymore. The man hesitated. Something in Vincent's eyes made him pause. Then headlights cut through the darkness. A motorcycle rolled into the parking lot. Then another. Then 5 more. Marcus, Dean, Cisco, and several others from the crew. The 3 men froze. Marcus dismounted slowly, walked toward them. His expression was calm, almost bored. Evening, gentlemen. The tall man stepped back. We were just leaving. Good idea. Marcus's voice didn't rise, didn't need to. And if I see you around here again, bothering my people, we're going to have a very different conversation. Clear? The man nodded quickly. He and his friends hurried toward a parked car, drove off without another word. Marcus turned to Vincent. You okay? Vincent nodded, still shaking slightly. Yeah. How did you... Eva called. Said she saw some guys hanging around earlier. Looked like trouble. Figured we'd check in. Vincent looked at the riders. All of them had come. In the freezing cold. In the middle of the night. For him. Thank you, he said, voice thick. Marcus clapped him on the shoulder. That's what family does. Later that night, Vincent sat in Eva's cafe with Marcus, Dean, and Cisco. The place was closed, but Eva made coffee anyway. You could have hit him, Dean said. Nobody would have blamed you. Vincent shook his head. That's not who I want to be anymore. Cisco nodded approval. Smart. Marcus studied Vincent. You scared? A little, but not enough to quit. Good, because this work isn't easy. People will doubt you, judge you, try to tear you down, but you keep showing up anyway. Why do you think they came after me? Vincent asked. Because you're proof, Marcus said simply. Proof of what? That people can change, that redemption is real. Some folks don't like that, makes them uncomfortable, forces them to look at their own choices. Eva set down cups of coffee. Ignore them, hun. You're doing good work. That's what matters. Vincent wrapped his hands around the warm mug. I never thought I'd be here. A month ago, I was stealing from kids. Now I'm organizing coat drives and planning fundraisers. It doesn't feel real. It's real, Marcus said. You made it real. On Saturday morning, Vincent showed up at the community center as usual. He expected a normal day. Instead, he found 50 extra coats stacked by the door. And a note, for the Winter Angels Fund. Keep doing what you're doing. Anonymous. Vincent stared at the pile. Someone had heard about the work, about his story, and they'd responded. Marcus appeared beside him, read the note, smiled. See, this is what happens when you do things right. People notice, people care. Vincent picked up one of the coats, held it, felt its weight. I wish I could thank them. You will, by giving these away, by helping more families, by proving their faith in you was justified. Vincent nodded, set the coat down, rolled up his sleeves. Then let's get to work. That day, they helped 87 families, more than they'd ever helped in a single distribution. And when the last child walked out wearing a brand new coat, smiling from ear to ear, Vincent knew he'd finally found his place. Not in stealing, not in running, but in giving, in showing up, in doing better, in being the person Sarah Holt would have been proud of. Christmas came and went. The Winter Angels Fund distributed its final coats of the season on December 23rd. Over 600 children had been helped, 600 families kept warm. Vincent stood in the empty community centre afterward, staring at the bare tables. The work was done for the year, but he didn't feel finished. Marcus found him there. "You okay?" "Yeah, just thinking. About what happens next. Winter's over. The drive's done. What do I do now?" Marcus smiled. "Whatever you want. You've fulfilled your commitment 10 times over. Nobody expects anything more." Vincent turned to face him. "But I want to do more." "Like what?" "I don't know. Expand the program, help in other ways, find new needs and meet them." Marcus's smile widened. "Then that's what we'll do." In January, Vincent proposed an idea, a scholarship fund for kids whose families had received coats, a way to support education, to give them opportunities. Marcus loved it, so did Eva, so did the riders. They launched the program in February, raised $12,000 in the first month. By March, 3 students had received scholarships. One of them was Sarah Holt's best friend, a girl who'd been there the day Sarah died, who'd never forgotten. When Marcus handed her the check, she cried, hugged him, thanked him. "Sarah would be so proud of you," she whispered. Marcus's voice broke. "I hope so." Vincent's story spread. Local news covered it, then regional, then national. Former thief becomes community hero. From rock bottom to redemption. How one man's worst mistake led to his greatest purpose. Vincent didn't like the attention, but Marcus encouraged him to lean into it. "Your story matters," Marcus said. "It gives people hope, shows them change is possible." So Vincent did interviews, told his story, didn't hide from his past, owned it. And people responded. Donations poured in, volunteers signed up. Other communities reached out, asking how to start similar programs. The Winter Angels Fund became a movement. 1 year after Vincent stole the charity box, he stood on the same spot in Eva's Café. The box sat on the counter, exactly where it had been, but this time it was overflowing. Hundreds of dollars, notes from donors, thank you cards from families. Eva walked over, stood beside him. "Hard to believe, isn't it?" Vincent nodded. "A year ago, I almost destroyed this. But you didn't. You built it up instead, because Marcus gave me a chance." "No," Eva said gently. "Marcus gave you the opportunity. You did the work. Don't forget that." Vincent looked at the box, at the drawings taped to the front, at the faces of children who'd been helped. "I won't," he said quietly. "I'll never forget." That evening, Marcus called a meeting. All the core volunteers gathered at the community centre. Vincent assumed it was about planning for next season. But when Marcus stood up, he was holding something unexpected. A leather vest. Black. The Winter Angels Fund logo embroidered on the back. A child wrapped in a coat, wings spreading wide. "Vincent," Marcus said, "when you first came here, you were broken, lost, looking for a way forward." Vincent shifted uncomfortably. Everyone was staring. "You could have run," Marcus continued, "could have disappeared, could have gone back to your old life. But you didn't. You stayed. You worked. You earned your place here." He held up the vest. "This belongs to someone who's proven they'll show up. Who'll do the hard work. Who'll fight for what's right even when it's easier to walk away." Marcus walked over, handed Vincent the vest. "You're not just a volunteer anymore. You're family." Vincent took the vest. His hands trembled. He looked at the embroidered logo, the stitching, the weight of it. "I don't know what to say." "Say you'll keep showing up." Vincent looked around the room, at Dean, at Cisco, at Eva, at all the riders who'd given him a chance when he didn't deserve one. "I will," he said, voice thick, "for as long as you'll have me." Marcus smiled. "Then welcome home, brother." The room erupted in applause. People stood, clapped, some whistled. Vincent pulled on the vest. It fit perfectly. For the first time in his life, he felt like he belonged somewhere. Later that night, Vincent stood outside the community center alone. The parking lot was empty. The stars were bright. He pulled out his phone, opened his photos, found the picture Marcus had shown him months ago, Sarah's letter to Santa. He read it again, every word. Then he whispered, "I'll keep going, Sarah. I promise. For you. For every kid like you. For everyone who needs help." The wind picked up, cold, sharp. But Vincent didn't feel it. He felt warm, protected, purpose-driven. He put his phone away, looked up at the stars, and somewhere, in the space between grief and hope, he felt Marcus's daughter smile. The Winter Angels Fund continues today. Vincent still shows up every Saturday, still helps families, still tells his story, because redemption isn't a moment, it's a choice, made every single day. If this story touched your heart, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Share this with someone who needs to hear that it's never too late to change. Drop a comment telling us what second chances mean to you. Thank you for watching. And remember, one act of courage can change everything. See you in the next story.